So in my last video, I talked about how me and my husband took $3,500 and flipped it into $97,000. But I didn't explain the method to the madness. So if you want to know how we leveraged $97,000, stick around. Hey guys, so in my last video, I talked about how me and my husband acquired $97,000 worth of credit cards, but I didn't go into detail on how we utilized and leveraged those funds. And if I am honest, I will say that this video is prompted by a comment that was made in my last video. So I wanted to come on and provide some clarification and just explain the process a little bit better so that you understand exactly how we utilize our funds. So before I go into detail, I do want to read the comment that was made. And it says, you flipped it into 97,000 credit, but when you cash out the 97,000 for a house, the interest rate is 24%. Why would anyone pay 24% interest on a home? Even if you plan to flip the house, it takes forever to sell at this moment in time. So that will eat up your $97,000 in profit. So I thought that this was a great question and comment all wrapped up in one. And I just wanted to come on and provide some clarification on how we use our funds. Okay. So the first thing is regarding the 24% interest. One of the things that I love about acquiring business credit is that when you get business credit with certain banks, for the first 12 months, there is a 0% interest rate. Okay? It doesn't get any better than that. So for the first year, you don't even have to worry about interest rate because it's at a zero rate. Okay? So I wanted to address that firsthand. Secondly, we would never, ever cash out our credit cards in order to acquire a property. That would be a recipe for disaster and immediate failure because credit cards have to be paid back. So let me just explain to you how we utilize the funds. So in order to acquire a home, we use one of two methods. We either use our business line of credit or we work with a hard money lender. Normally we work with a hard money lender because they are investor friendly. And depending on your credit score and your experience, they will loan up to 80% of the asking price of the property as well as fund 100% of the renovations. So this is where the credit cards come in. Let's just say you have a house that you find it's $100,000, right? Of that $100,000, your lender says to you, well, we can fund 80% of the loan. Of course, they can't fund 100% because at that point, you don't have any skin in the game, right? So of that $100,000, they are going to bring $80,000 to the table. You, in turn, have to find the other $20,000 to bring to the table in order to acquire the house, right? And so if you don't have $20,000 that you want to just invest freely out of your own pockets, you can utilize the credit card. You take the $20,000 off of your credit card and you bring it to the closing table, and that helps you to acquire your property. But I would never ever cash out all of my credit cards to fully pay for the house because that's just not how it works. Secondly, we have our credit cards available to help us throughout the renovation process. So even though our hard money lender is paying 100% of the renovations, you still have to have a jump start period, right? So how it works is that you and your GC, you have a scope of work. You also come up with a draw schedule. So your draw schedule identifies the timeline in terms of when you are going to submit payment to your GC. Most of the cases, in terms of the project that I've worked, we have to start off the GC with some funds so that they can get started with demo, with cleanup, removing all of the debris, and so forth. And that typically starts off with about maybe $15,000 to $17,000. We then in turn utilize our credit card to jumpstart the renovation process, right? However, how it works is that once the first phase is done, or once that first payment schedule is done, your GC is gonna say, okay, I'm ready to move on. We've completed the clean out, the demo, trash pickup, all of that has been completed. We're ready to go on and move on to the next phase. You in turn will go to the lender and say, hey, I would like to request a draw. Your draw is going to be in the amount that you paid the GC for. It's a reimbursement, right? Once you get the money back from the draw from the lender, then you take a portion, a small portion, you pay towards your credit card to keep it afloat because you have to pay your credit card back, and you give the rest to your GC. This is the method that we use, and this is how we leverage our credit cards throughout the renovation process. We do not utilize our credit cards in order to acquire the property. Additionally, if anything were to come up unexpectedly that we did not account for during our scope of work assessment, where we gave the lender the full amount of what it would cost to renovate, and we have to come out of pocket to compensate for what we missed, this is another opportunity for us to leverage our credit cards in terms of the funds that we didn't account for during the during the scope of work process. So I just wanted to come on really quickly to clarify how we utilize the money, how we utilize our credit cards. And by no means would I ever encourage anyone to cash out your credit cards to purchase a home. So I hope I brought clarification to you all. See you in the next video.